Hey, welcome to World Mind Hub. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for more updates. On June 7, 2025, the Ukrainian front was rocked by an explosion unlike any before. The night was shattered by a force that seemed to rewrite the very rules of conflict, leaving soldiers and civilians alike stunned by its sheer magnitude. The ground convulsed violently, a blinding flash lit up the darkness for miles, and a deafening roar echoed across the landscape. No warning, no sirens, just sudden, overwhelming devastation that left everyone reeling. First responders rushed to the scene, only to find a vast crater where a heavily fortified structure had once stood. The landscape was utterly annihilated, with debris scattered far beyond the immediate blast zone. Buildings were flattened as if made of paper, vehicles tossed aside like toys, and everything at the epicenter simply vaporized, leaving behind only scorched earth and silence. This was not a precise missile strike, but something far more overwhelming, a display of raw, indiscriminate power that dwarfed anything seen in recent memory. The iconic mushroom cloud rising into the sky was a chilling reminder of warfare's darkest chapters, evoking memories of weapons once thought consigned to history. Reports from nearby villages spoke of shattered windows, cracked walls, and a deep sense of dread that settled over the region. The shockwave had traveled for kilometers, leaving a trail of destruction and fear. The psychological shock was immediate and profound. How could such overwhelming power strike without warning? Residents described a night filled with terror, confusion, and disbelief. The weapon responsible was soon identified, a FAB-3000, a Soviet-era bomb retrofitted with a modern guidance kit, transforming an old relic into a new instrument of terror. Weighing 3,000 kilograms, this once dumb bomb had become a terrifyingly effective tool of destruction, capable of leveling entire city blocks in a single strike. Its use marked a turning point in the conflict, signaling Russia's willingness to escalate with overwhelming force and to employ weapons designed for maximum impact. This was more than just another attack. It was a declaration that the rules of engagement had fundamentally changed, and that the boundaries of warfare were being redrawn in real time. The scale of destruction was about to enter a new, more dangerous phase, with consequences that would ripple far beyond the battlefield, altering the course of the war and the lives of all caught in its path. The FAB-3000's target was a major Ukrainian weapons depot, a critical hub for ammunition, drones, and Western-supplied missiles. In a single earth-shattering moment, the depot was erased from the map. Military analysts were stunned. One bomb, one target, total obliteration. The blast radius was so immense that even reinforced bunkers stood no chance. The loss of this depot will ripple across the front lines, disrupting supply chains and planned operations. Russia's choice was deliberate, severing a vital artery in Ukraine's war machine. This strike was a brutal answer to Ukraine's own long-range attacks. The incident exposed a vulnerability. Standard air defenses are ill-equipped to stop such massive gliding bombs. Ukraine must now rethink how to protect its most critical infrastructure from these old-school behemoths. Why would a military power deploy a relic from the Cold War in the midst of modern, high-tech warfare? At first glance, it seems almost counterintuitive. Why not rely solely on the latest precision weapons and advanced missiles? The answer is a mix of brutal pragmatism and strategic necessity. Russia possesses enormous stockpiles of these old bombs, and with resources stretched by prolonged conflict, retrofitting them is far more cost-effective than producing new cruise missiles from scratch. It's a way to maximize firepower while minimizing expense. The real game-changer is the UMPK kit. With its pop-out wings and satellite navigation, this kit transforms a simple, unguided bomb into a precision-guided glide weapon. Suddenly, a weapon designed decades ago becomes a threat that can rival modern munitions. Thanks to this upgrade, Russian bombers can now release the FAB-3000 from as far as 70 kilometers away, keeping the aircraft safely out of reach of most Ukrainian air defenses. This standoff capability is crucial in contested skies. This fusion of old iron and new technology creates a weapon that's not only deadly, but also difficult to intercept or neutralize. It's a potent, hard-to-counter threat that forces adversaries to adapt quickly. The FAB-3000's true power lies not just in its newfound accuracy, but in its overwhelming area effect. When it strikes, it can obliterate entire fortified zones, leaving behind devastation on a massive scale. In a grinding war of attrition, the ability to wipe out a heavily defended position with a single weapon is a major advantage. It can shift the balance on the battlefield, forcing defenders to rethink their strategies. Both sides in this conflict have adapted, combining aging Soviet-era systems with cutting-edge technology to meet the ever-changing demands of the battlefield. This hybrid approach is now a hallmark of modern warfare. We've seen sea drones ingeniously crafted from civilian jet skis, turning everyday objects into tools of war, and commercial drones, once used for photography or agriculture, are now repurposed for reconnaissance and attack missions, showing how innovation can come from unexpected places. Yet, the FAB-3000 stands out as perhaps the most dramatic example of this trend, an old weapon, reborn for a new era of conflict. It's a stark reminder that in a grinding, high-stakes conflict, the creative use of existing arsenals can be just as deadly, and sometimes even more effective than the latest high-tech innovations. On today's battlefield, innovation is rewarded, no matter how old the parts or how unexpected the solution. The puzzle of the FAB-3000 is a testament to the enduring power of adaptation in war. The FAB-3000's appearance is a direct response to Ukraine's escalating long-range attacks. Ukraine's spiderweb operations using drones and Western missiles have struck deep into Russian logistics. These strikes have disrupted supply lines, damaged air bases, and complicated Russian operations. Russia was forced to recalibrate, escalating its own long-range strike campaign. The new goal crippled Ukraine's ability to produce, supply, and launch its own weapons. The FAB-3000 is the most visceral example of this new phase, where the fight is over the capacity to wage war itself. The conflict has shifted from territory to infrastructure and resilience. Russia's strategic bombers, especially the Tu-95 MS Bear, are central to its retaliatory campaign. These Cold War giants, updated for modern warfare, launch advanced Kh-101 cruise missiles from deep within Russian territory. The Kh-101 is stealthy, precise, and can strike targets thousands of kilometers away. Russia now launches these missiles in massive waves, overwhelming Ukraine's air defenses. The targets power plants, drone factories, ammunition depots, Ukraine's military-industrial backbone. The strategy is clear: destroy the sources of Ukraine's technological edge. This dual approach, precision missiles and massive bombs, creates a multi-layered threat. Russia is dismantling Ukraine's war machine piece by piece. Russia's intensified air campaign is unmistakable, leaving a trail of devastation that is visible not only in satellite images and official reports, but also in the daily struggles of ordinary Ukrainians. The scars of war are etched into the very landscape, with entire neighborhoods reduced to rubble and once bustling streets now eerily silent. Massive, coordinated strikes on power plants have plunged cities into darkness, triggering rolling blackouts and forcing widespread energy rationing. In Kyiv and beyond, families huddle together by candlelight, trying to stay warm and safe as the power grid falters under relentless attack. Satellite photos reveal the extent of the destruction: turbine halls reduced to twisted metal, substations charred and lifeless. These are not random acts, but deliberate, targeted assaults designed to cripple Ukraine's energy infrastructure and disrupt daily life. On the ground, journalists and observers document the chaos as firefighters battle raging blazes and emergency crews work around the clock to restore power. Each day brings new challenges, with repairs often undone by fresh waves of attacks. Ukraine's defense industry has been hit especially hard. Drone factories and ammunition workshops, once vital to the war effort, now lie in ruins, testament to the precision and persistence of the strikes. The goal is clear: to choke off Ukraine's ability to produce weapons domestically, forcing greater reliance on Western aid, which is often slow to arrive and limited in scope. The human cost of this campaign is staggering. Blackouts disrupt hospitals, putting lives at risk, while water and heating shortages leave families vulnerable. The destruction of factories means not just lost production but lost livelihoods, deepening the sense of despair. The war has spilled far beyond the front lines. Civilian infrastructure, schools, hospitals, and homes has become a primary target, turning entire communities into battlegrounds and upending daily life for millions. Russia is waging a war of attrition not just against Ukraine's military, but against the very resilience and spirit of the Ukrainian people and state. Each attack is meant to erode hope and resistance. The evidence is overwhelming. This is a systematic, calculated campaign to break Ukraine's ability to fight, to function, and to survive as a nation. For millions of Ukrainians, these attacks are not just headlines. They are a daily reality, shaping every aspect of life and testing the limits of endurance and hope. Russia's focus has shifted from the trenches to Ukraine's logistical and industrial heartland. The new strategy cripple Ukraine's ability to sustain the fight from the rear. This includes targeting energy, manufacturing, repair facilities, and supply depots. The logic is brutal: an army without power, bullets, or drones cannot fight. The FAB-3000 is central to this approach, ideal for destroying large fortified areas even with incomplete intelligence. This pivot transforms the war into a struggle over industrial capacity and logistical resilience. No part of Ukraine is truly safe. The economic and industrial foundations are now primary targets. The goal exhausts Ukraine and its allies, making the cost of war unsustainable. The FAB-3000 is more than a bomb, it's psychological warfare. For Ukrainian soldiers and civilians, it's a message of terror: nowhere is safe. For Ukraine's leadership, it signals Russia's resolve and capacity for sustained conflict. For the West, it's a warning: escalate support, and Russia will escalate its response. The FAB-3000 is a tool of strategic communication, broadcast around the world as propaganda. It demonstrates Russian military might and innovation, even with old systems. The bomb is meant to create doubt among Ukraine's allies and raise the stakes of continued support. Every explosion is a reminder of Russia's willingness to use overwhelming force. The FAB-3000 shapes perceptions and influences decisions far from the battlefield. It's a weapon designed to break morale as much as fortifications. The FAB-3000 and Russia's new strategy have pushed the war into a more dangerous phase. Old and new threats now coexist: drones, stealth missiles, and massive bombs. Each side's innovations fuel a cycle of escalation, making the conflict harder to contain. For Ukraine, systematic destruction of infrastructure risks a humanitarian and economic crisis. The West faces the challenge of supporting and rebuilding a country under attack. The risk: Ukraine fatigue and reduced support as the costs mount. Globally, this escalation raises the specter of a wider conflict. Russia's use of overwhelming force signals it's not bluffing about its vital interests. The line between conventional and non-conventional warfare grows thinner. The war in Ukraine is a defining moment for global security. Its lessons will echo for years to come.